In 1996, regulations in Palestine required women to obtain permission from male guardians before applying for a passport. Suhaira Zuni worked with a coalition of women's groups to reverse this legislation and ensure equal citizenship rights for women.
What happened is that in Palestine we do not have our own laws and legislation, so we kind of inherit Jordanian laws and sometimes Egyptian laws and legislations. And for the first time in our lives after Oslo, we had all of a sudden the right to have our own laws and legislation. As soon as the Palestinian authorities were employed in the area and they felt compelled that according to the Oslo Accord they only have to implement the laws and legislations that were in effect before the 1967 occupation. We were told as women that we have to obtain the permission, the written permission of our guardians in order to obtain passports. It was really shocking because the guardians, according to the law, are first the husband. If the woman is not married, of course it's the father. If she's married, it's the husband. If there is no husband or father, it's the brother or the son. So you could imagine how humiliating the situation was. The members in our coalition are women from different political and interest groups who have been active all along, and also professional women who felt that this is the time to work for a society that has a human culture of equality and with no discrimination according to race, color, religion. We had to work on different fronts. First of all, on the political front, because we felt that this was a political issue. So we had to address the head of the Palestinian Authority, the Deputy Minister of Interior, and also we had to address the media, and we had to address the public. And we had to be very well organized in order to tackle all these issues. The first Palestinian elections were to be held during the same time. So there was lots of political mobilizing around, and there were people running for elections, males and females. So we thought we should better take advantage of the whole situation. So the first thing that we did was to start a petition. It was more or less official language that we use, protesting what is happening in a very nice and polite way. And the petition was distributed to all the women's organizations who were helping with collecting signatures. And then we sent all these signatures to President Arafat by fax. The beauty of all this is that all women felt very, very strongly against such a discriminatory measure, and they all coordinated together. Some started writing to the media, articles in the newspapers. Others approached the radio station, and they were placed live on the radio station together with officials from the Ministry of Interior. Other women felt that now is the time to march against this regulation. We held our first demonstration or march, if you want to say, against this regulation, against the Palestinian Authority. And it was the first march ever against the Palestinian Authority that was held. And we called 8 of the candidates running in Ramallah joined us, and they all voiced their complete support to the women's issues, and that they said that they would only respect the full rights of women if they were to be elected as future legislators, future members of the parliament. Because we had the first ever Palestinian legislative elections, all the major international media stations were there. They were really attracted to the first elections rather than the women's issues that we were talking about. So it was a challenge to try to hold marches for both events together. But yet, in these marches, we held banners and we held slogans that called for reversal of the discriminatory regulation. Unfortunately, despite 4 marches, nothing happened. But we continued with our petitions, and we asked the Deputy Minister of Interior to come to our office. So he was invited to come to our office. He came with a sheikh, and in that room there were 40 very strong women who had a long history of experience and struggle for the liberation of the homeland. One of them said, "Listen, you know, I am a widow, and my husband died because of the liberation of the homeland, but I really raised my children all alone, and I am now in my 50s. Do you think that I should take the permission of my son in order to get a passport? Aren't you ashamed of that?" And other women said, "Now there is a woman running for presidency against President Arafat. Do you think she also should get the permission of her sons in order to get passports made?" 5 months later, when one day we were called by our friends in the radio station who were helping us, getting us to be interviewed, and they said, "Guess what? This evening at 8 p.m., it was on, I think, the 3rd of March, 1996, and this whole thing started in November 1995, and he said, we just received a fax from the Ministry of Interior saying that neither men nor women would be asked to get the written permission of their guardians in order to obtain passports." And it was wonderful. The next day, we placed an ad thanking President Arafat and the Minister of Interior for granting women their right to get their passports without the permission of their guardians. Some women felt that we shouldn't thank them since they have violated our rights in the first place, that they shouldn't have asked us to get the permission. But it's in public relations and in lobbying, it's always good to remember to thank people because you will need them again. And it's not wise to just make enemies. It's always good even to make friends and to make people feel that it's always a win-win situation and never a win-lose situation, because also in women's rights, a society where women's rights are accepted by both men and women win and nobody loses. Now, the beauty of it is that the capacity to get every person involved feel the sense of belonging and ownership to the campaign itself. Every woman and man and there were men helping us, who were involved, felt that this was his own or her own achievement and objective, that it was her own mission to stand against this discriminatory law. And then when we won, everybody felt that they had contributed to this victory. Until now, they say we did it together.